For this session, I wrote 23 words. For this session, I wrote 61 words, and my November's total word count is 3,884 words. Here is the month's trend graph, and in comparison with, let's fix the focus, okay. Here's a comparison from August, September, October, and this is November. This is just a 16-week trend graph. Very interesting. For this session, I wrote 93 words. I am now at 2,209 words in my second manuscript, my cozy magical novel. For this session, I wrote 116 words. 2,352 words for my second manuscript. This month, I am experimenting with a lot of new changes. It's December, it's the holiday season. It's generally a busier time of year for me. My husband and I will be on a work trip in Chicago this weekend. We are celebrating our anniversary. I have some birthdays coming up, then we have the Christmas holidays, and then we roll right into the new year. So there will be lots of festivities, celebrating, socializing, and as an introvert and a general homebody, that is a lot of energy. It is so surprising to see how my writing is affected by all these other energetic expenditures, largely in socializing. In the moment when I'm with my friends and family, I don't feel like I'm being drained per se, but man, that social hangover is legitimate. There really doesn't seem to be any other workaround than just a flat out rest and recover day for me. And during these R&R days, I can barely read a book. I don't have the attention span to watch YouTube videos. I really just do nothing, and I don't really like it. I hate not being able to do the things I usually love doing, but unfortunately, a lot of the activities I enjoy are very mentally heavy. And so I am trying to figure out if I do a little less throughout the month, if I moderate more throughout the month, if it may not be necessary for me to have those flat out R&R days. Because every day I want to write with a clear head. Every day I want to read and love what I'm reading and really be present for it. And every day I want to be in my cards. One of the major activities I am moderating, more so this month than any other month, is my reading. And I mentioned this a little bit in previous vlogs, but instead of putting any goals around my reading this month, I'm letting it be free range, reading truly when I feel, so that I can make room for my other projects, namely my second manuscript, my cozy magical novel. And this is where the experimentation gets a little bit more interesting, because this month, I do want to see if I can add in more sessions for my second manuscript. I want to try my hand at writing maybe 4 or 5 days out of the week in my second manuscript, but with absolutely no fixed constraints. As you saw in earlier clips, I wrote for my second manuscript yesterday, and I wrote today as well, and I'm hoping that after I finish up editing this video that I can get a little more writing in. For today's tarot polls, or tarot oracle polls, I finally caved and got the large Thoth, and I pulled the Queen of Discs. I have been loving the giant Rider-Waite-Smith tarot so much that I decided to grab the giant Thoth as well. And for today's Rider Waite, I pulled the Two of Pentacles and then the Fool. And actually, really, this is very fitting because I feel like I am juggling two different realities with my two manuscripts. And then for my crystal card, I pulled the chrysoprase. I'm not sure if I'm saying that correctly. And it says, allow yourself to receive. So I pulled that. And for Fairy Oracle, the Fairy King of Spring, and his note is, a fairy lantern lights the way of wisdom on the stairway to happiness. And then I actually picked up two new Oracle decks, which I'm very excited about. I picked up this is the Earth Magic Oracle, and I pulled Winter Solstice Reflection. And for the Sacred Traveler Oracle deck, I pulled Joy and Delight. Over the weekend, while I was traveling for Thanksgiving, I stopped by another Goodwill and I picked up a few books. I found Ursula Le Guin, again, I don't know if I'm saying her last name correctly, The Dispossessed, a beautiful copy of it. And I found this book called Paris to the Moon by Adam Gopnik. And let me just read a little snippet in the back. So it says, in 1995, Adam Gopnik, his wife, and their infant son left the familiar comforts and hassles of New York City for the urbane glamour of Paris. In the grand tradition of Stein, Hemingway, Baldwin, and Liebling, Gopnik set out to enjoy the storied existence of an American in Paris, walks down the paths to Tuileries, philosophical discussions in cafes, and afternoon jaunts to the Musée d'Orsay. But as readers of Gopnik's beloved and award-winning Paris Journal and the New Yorker know, there was also the matter of raising a child and carrying on with la vie quotidienne, the daily, slightly less fabled life. As Gopnik discovers in this funny and tender account, the dual processes of navigating a foreign city and becoming a parent are not completely dissimilar. Both promise new routines, new languages, and a new set of rules by which each day is to be lived. With singular wit and insight, Gopnik manages to weave the magical with the mundane in this wholly delightful book that Entertainment Weekly deemed magisterial. So this is a nonfiction book, a memoir, and I did a sample check and it has very beautifully written insights. So I'm very interested to read this. And then lastly, and also excuse my French pronunciation, that was horrible. I found Virginia Woolf's Mrs. Dalloway. And this is a book that I have been going back and forth on for years on whether or not I really wanted to read the whole thing. And it's not very long, but I've just been so indecisive about it. However, coming across this at a random Goodwill in beautiful condition, I was like, it's a sign, I need to read it. So I picked this up for my collection. It is lunchtime. It is time for me to put in an order for some Indian food. My husband and I are going to do some tikka masala for lunch today. But that is it for this vlog, and I will see you in the next one.